Joe, I think I figured out what happened.
I'm listening.
Dave made a mistake. He took NyQuil instead of Dayquil. He nodded off.
Yo,
All right, we live, fellas. Just let you know.
All right.
Step out of the car. Don't you fucking kick me. Hi there.
Hi.
You know why I stopped you?
No,
When you turned on Alexander from McKee, you went right through the stop sign.
I didn't.
471 was up for me. Affirmative, go ahead.
I didn't.
You got your driver's license? I'm clear. You start on the car, please. You have your ID, ma'am?
I don't.
You
I
don't?
just left from my friend's house. I don't. My purse is there.
What's that?
I said I don't. My purse is at my friend's house.
Okay. All right, so you don't have any ID on you whatsoever?
No, but I didn't run to no stop sign.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't.
Okay. All right, what's your name? What's your name, ma'am? Hello? What's your name? Hey, I'm talking to you.
I hear you.
Okay, you have to identify yourself.
1 second.
No, this is not how that works.
No, because you just pulled me over when I literally just parked.
Okay.
And I'm
All right.
pulling up to pick up my friend.
Okay.
I'm confused on why I even got.
It's very simple. You just ran a stop sign.
I
Okay.
didn't, though.
Yeah, you did. Okay. I need your name, ma'am. Turn the car off, please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
471. What was the female's name again? She's not complying. Step up. That's not how this works. Step out of the car.
You just pulled me over.
Step out of the car.
for no reason.
Step out of the car.
No.
Yes. Listen, this is going to go a couple ways, okay? You can either listen, we can do this easy, or...
Right, but okay, so let me see me running the stop sign. You got your cam on, right?
We have cameras, yes.
Okay, so let me see it.
No, I'm not showing you the
Well,
cameras.
I'm my lawyer.
No.
You can back the fuck up.
Step out of the car.
No fucking right.
Step out of the car, or I'm going to make you step out of the car, okay? We need you to get step out of the car. We can have a conversation in the back.
No,
that's not how this works.
No,
That's not how this Step out of the car.
No, that is how it works because I didn't do anything and you're going to...
If I have to put hands on you and you resist, you're going to get another charge, okay?
So we just need you to step out.
Step out of the car, please.
Force you to come out.
Do it.
Step out of the car.
Do it.
Step out of the car. Okay. Step out of the car. Don't you fucking kick me! Bitch! Don't fucking kick me! Put your hands behind your hands! Put your hands behind your back! Give me your fucking hands!
welcome back, my PBM family. Welcome back. Another episode of Old School Cops presented by PBM. You got the three-man squad tonight. Tonight, we got a real good squad. We got a lot of experience. We got different experience. So let me introduce Tone. Tone is from the community. He worked the largest jail as a correction officer. His first initial start to the law enforcement game on Rikers Island. Did amazing work as a correction officer. Then he transitioned to become a police officer. He did excellent as a patrolman. He did some sergeant work. Then he went to detective division. He was a B&E detective. Then he went and did some youth violence and addiction. What that is juveniles involved with gangs. So he's a gang specialist when it comes down to understanding the dynamics, the ins and outs of gang activity. To my right, we got the OG of law enforcement. The man been doing law enforcement and making communities safer when I was in elementary school. We love having the OG on the panel in the squad because he's filled with a lot of experience. He's from the community. He did so well as a city cop. He took his talents to the federal level and became a hell of a DEA agent and made not just one city much better. And when it comes down to fighting crime, he did it nationally. He went around the whole country, locking up bad guys, pulling a lot of dope off the streets. So we love having the OG a part of the squad. This particular video, you see, we tell you time and time again, listen, your fight is in the courtroom. And I just want to we all are from the community. We've all been victims of excessive policing, right? That's what makes us a little unique when it comes down to understanding not only the people but law enforcement and how they move, because we've been on both sides. This girl was dead wrong all the way, no questions asked. She's arguing about rolling through a stop sign. She didn't have any ID. She wants to see the camera. You got to identify yourself. Everything about what she did was wrong. Now, the officers had to remove her from the car. I'm not even going to say, like, look, it should have been a little bit more or less force. The way she carried and the amount of resistance that she put up and the amount of fight that she given the officers, you got to match it and overcome it. Them yanking her out the car, had no problem with that. Listen, this is educational. We always want to tell you guys on how to prevent from getting your ass beat down or killed. And she did everything you don't supposed to do. Arguing with the cop, cursing the cop out, had no ID, get out the car. I want to see everything that we tell you guys not to do, she did. She lived to survive this encounter, but at the same time, we seen it when it went left and it went the wrong way, where person badly got beat up or even lost their life. So keep your fight in the courtroom. Please, ladies and gentlemen, keep your fight in the courtroom. Tone, go ahead. I'm passing it to you.
Yeah, like you said, the fight is in the courtroom. Plus, you got cameras. Guilty, guilty, and guilty. You go ahead and you comply, and that's it. Now she's facing several additional charges. She may even assaulted the officer. Who knows? So that's going to be a lose-lose. Now, me as the officer, I would have tried to do more talking and not to escalate it. I want to have a female officer present. I'd have been talking to her. Look, step out the color. You can make this easy. You're looking at probably a couple of summonses if I could verify who you are, but instead you want to carry it the hard way and take it to jail. Like you said, Joe, the courtroom's your place. That's their playground. Don't give them all the weapons. And again, it was a loss for her. Just comply.
Yeah, and we understand, like, when you feel like you do being done wrong, it's not as easy as said and done as far as just comply. We get it, the frustrations, but we're arming you on how to fight that disapproval of how you being treated. And then she was all the way wrong. Everybody who will see this video knows you got to give your identification. Driving a vehicle, you got to give identification. He even went to the extent of saying, okay, let's identify you. What's your name? Like, he didn't even have to do that. He could have got out the car right then and there. The officer did give her a few opportunities to cooperate. And, we see officers go from 0 to 100 just like that. Like, what are you doing? I hate to see that this lady got yanked out, but she caused a lot of it. Like, not even a little bit of what she did. Like, we would normally say, well, the officer just went. Like Tone said, you could have had a little bit more patience. She could have did a little bit more talking. You could have. But the way she was carrying on, you gave this officer all the ammunition to do exactly what he did. Go ahead, OG. Take it away.
So what you saw there was a demonstration of the mentality that we see now in today's time, with people being very uncooperative and thinking that they're always right. Well, show me the camera. Well, I don't have my driver's license. I left it at my friend's house. If anything, she should have said, my name is, my date of birth is, and like me, I know my driver's license number. I've known it for God knows how long, and since I've been in Georgia, and I can flash it off to you real fast. 376-99461. So the thing is, when you're on that side and you make a conscious decision to be defiant, then the expectation is you're going to jail. Now the question is whether you go with injuries or without injuries, whether you go with additional charges or without additional charges. So Joe, when the guy told me to get out of the car, I got out of the car. Put your hands behind your back. I put my hands behind my back. I never questioned about the charges because I knew he was wrong. I just complied with what he said do. I was a probation officer at juvenile court. I'm 6'5", 270 pounds. He was 5'4", 5'5", a good $155, 60 maybe. And I wasn't gonna fight with him because I knew I could win, but I would have lost in the long run because I knew what he was doing was wrong. As a citizen and as young people, if the young folks are watching this, your parents are watching this, and you have teenagers or young adults, please let them know. Be cooperative. Follow their instructions to the T. We want you to survive and go home. We don't need you to be a statistic. We don't want you getting beaten up and tased and shot because somebody got nervous and pulled their gun instead of their taser. Be cooperative. Be respectful. Yes, sir. No, sir. Thank you, sir. Even to give you the ticket, and be grateful that you have an opportunity to keep on living and go home. Because this kind of mess that we're getting, it's embarrassing. Like I said about the cops, Joe, about them knowing that they're on video. You know you're on video. You know this. So don't do something stupid like try to fight the police when you're gonna lose and get a whooped ass. That's not good. Because that ass whooping do hurt. I don't care what nobody say, especially being a woman. That's it.
Questions for us, go ahead and ask. We'd be more than happy to answer it. Shout out to the supporters of the PBM brand. We appreciate you guys. Please continue sending the videos. We're doing more live so we can have some interactions with you guys. So you can ask a question. One of us on the panel will answer it, if not all of us. But like we say all the time, listen, your fight is in the courtroom. We not taking no side, blue, black, white. It's a right and wrong for us. We're going to tell you if the officer messed up. We're going to tell you if the member of the community messed up. We going to tell you. A lot of people are like, oh, now it's blue. Now you taking it. They didn't do anything wrong. What she did allowed them to use force. The amount of force, they would fall within policy, ripping her out. We all handle things a little different. Like Tone said, he would have had a little bit more patience with trying to get her out the car, which he has every right to do that. But if, like this officer, he gave her a few times and that was enough for him, get her out the car. We're telling you things and we're giving you advice on how to survive an encounter of an aggressive police officer. So with that said, look, you gotta need somebody wrote. Oh, I love the honesty. Appreciate that. Was it trade? I don't have my glasses on, so if I pronounced that wrong, sorry about that. But listen, like I said all the time, we're gonna be going to the next video, and we'll see you on the next one. Be safe.
Back up on me, because I'm not paying.
4-3, she just attempted to hit me.
What? What? Get out my face. I'm not a
4-3,
resident.
TD bank.
Where's my teammate? They're coming up towards that boy.
What's up?
I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you. Drop it. Drop it. What is wrong with you? I am not playing with you.
You a person, beat your ass.
You better drop that.
No, I'm not. Bitch, if you a person,
I am not playing with you.
I don't give a fuck. Oh, bye. 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 Bye.
You are now under arrest.
Bye.
You're not
Bye.
going to
Bye. 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 Bitch, get out of my way.
I'm not playing with you.
Get out of my way.
Drop it.
No, bitch. Get out of my way.
Into the headquarters.
Out of my way.
Yeah.
Get out of my way. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. Bitch, get out of my way.
Let's go. What are you doing?
4-3, what's your exact?
Bitch, get the fuck. Bitch, get off of me. 4-3, leave me back. Get your ass off of me. What is you doing? Get your ass off of me. Bitch, get off of me. Dude, this is an easy one. Stop.
I am not playing with you. City bank right now.
No, I'm not. Get off of me. I swear to fuck did, bitch. Yeah, get off of me. Get off of me. What's your name, bitch? I'm gonna stab you out.
Put your ass into it.
No, I don't know.
Welcome back, my PBM family. Welcome back. Another episode of Old School Cops. We got the three-man unit, the most experienced unit in social media. Listen, I got my boy Tone to the left of me, and when I tell you his law enforcement career started on Rikers Island, the largest jail in the country, and he did so amazing there. He took his talents to the police department where he did patrol. He did a real good job with patrol. He did some sergeant work. He became a detective. He was a burglary detective. He did so well. They asked him to head up a youth violence and addiction, which concentrate on juveniles and gangs. So we got a lot of talent when it comes down to this panel. The OG of law enforcement, and when I tell y'all the OG of law enforcement is Ted. He's been doing law enforcement for a very long time. When I was in elementary school, this guy was locking up bad guys taking dope off the street, and he's been doing it for a very long time. He did it as a city cop. He did so amazing. He took his talents to the federal level and became a hell of a DEA agent and did an excellent job. Thank you to my supporters for always sending these videos in. First and foremost, you send the videos in, and with all of our experiences, we give y'all a fair assessment, whether it's right for the officer or wrong for the officer, right for the civilian or wrong for the civilian. What's different with this panel, we all from the community that gets attacked the most by bad policing, so we understand both sides. We all been victimized of bad policing, and then we join police department to see if we can make some change and be a representative of our community. So with that said, I'm gonna hand it over to Tone. Go ahead and give the assessment on this particular video. You pretty good when it comes down to dealing with EDPs, emotionally disturbed people, and this is what I would call it. I know there's a lot of conversation on how do you deal with somebody going through a episode, right? So I like this video because it gives you an inside view of, you can't send because I work side by side with people from crisis intervention. They come in, these guys supposed to be expert and be able to, kind of calm somebody down. But there is moments where you can't calm them down, and that's when law enforcement has to take response. Looking at this particular incident, I personally wouldn't want to put a crisis employee involved in that without having a little bit more control. Soon as you arrive, there's a lot more violence, there's a lot more aggression, and I don't know any, and I work with a lot of crisis intervention who would want to jump in there and start. She's throwing things. I said I was going to let Tone start it, so Tone, go ahead.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but this young lady might have been looking at some sort of an infraction. He said she tried to run into him, whatever. Anyway, she wound up assaulting the officer. She actually had a weapon. Thank God deadly force wasn't used, because we've seen a lot of situations. She had that bike lock in her hand. I mean, things could have gotten really, really, it could have went south at any moment. They went on and on, back and forth. To me, I thought he had other levels. I don't know if they issue tasers. Different departments have different use of force policies and guidelines. They use pepper spray. So you could see there's something really, really wrong with her. You got to get her detained. It went on for an extremely long time. I'm glad no one really got hurt. Someone could have gotten hurt. He had a difficult time with her. Well, I'm thankful that it kind of ended the way it did, because that could have ended in a ugly shooting.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand, like, when you have somebody in that state of mind and doing a lot of movement, and you could tell, like, she's agitated, she's doing it is to her benefit to quickly take control, because the more she moved around, the more she's able to grab other objects, get to something where he would have to escalate his use of force. I'm thankful that he didn't go there, but every time she moved, you risk the chances of her grabbing something to where this officer now is in fear for her life and he used deadly force. These are definitely one of these situations where you want to hurry up, take control. I wouldn't have mind if he tased her. I wouldn't have mind if he maced her. Hurry up, grab her, get her to the ground. Because the more you allow her to backpedal and move throughout that particular area, There's no telling what she could have got a hold to. All it takes is the officer to say, I'm in fear of my life. And it has to be reasonable. Picking up a chair, throwing at an officer, I can see where an officer would say deadly force. Shit, we saw a video not too long ago, a guy threw a paintbrush at an officer used deadly force. So you got to understand, it's the officer's job to assess, reassess, and control it using the minimum amount of force necessary, quick and fast when the environment dictates it. Sometimes you got time to have a conversation, try to de-escalate, try to calm her down. Then the other times you got to respond fast. She's just rolling through that bank extremely fast, aggressive. She's throwing stuff at him. I think he took way too long to get her under control. And I give him a D- for that. Really, I really do. So I'm glad he wasn't one of those cops where he felt like, oh, she's throwing things at me, let me use deadly force, because she was able to get it into custody without seriously bodily injury. But go ahead, OG, close it out.
I think the hardest part about dealing with mental health patients is not knowing what clicked them into what they're doing. You know, she was on the bicycle and all of a sudden she's obnoxious, disrespectful, and saying, I'm not, leave me alone, that kind of stuff. The biggest mistake I made in dealing with a mental health patient was being by myself. That was a big mistake. You should never be by yourself. I had to call for help anyway because she charged me. Not like this situation, she was really regressing. But the smartest thing to do when you have a mental health patient is to have help. The perfect situation I got into with one was there were 5 of us, and she fell in love with one of them. I think I talked about this before. She fell in love with one of the guys, and we used that as a ruse to get her out of the house. But in this situation, I don't know how soon the backup came, but you got to be careful, especially with other people there. When she went in that room, that could have been a barricaded situation. You don't know. And I think that was the right time for him to go in towards her. But I think he could have been a lot more patient and just tried to talk to her to find out what was going on with her, and waiting for people to arrive to make sure that they were adequate numbers. Kudos for not shooting her, because he could have dropped her when she pulled that thing up. But I think he could have waited a little bit longer to approach her. I give him credit for going inside the business, because clearly she didn't have business there. But once he got into the business, he should have given the people directions on what to do. Could you go into an office and lock the door for your own personal safety, please? That kind of thing, instead of letting them open the door and her have to go into the door. The other thing, like I said, getting the backup there, I'm gonna give him a little bit more credit too, because he could have delivered some very critical blows to her to get her to be subdued, and he didn't do that. He just tried to grab her arms and stuff like that. So I think he knew she was having mental health problems, and he wasn't being overly aggressive. But when it came time, he did what he had to do, and based on what we saw, I think she came out of it better. That he was able to control her in a way that was able to have her to be subdued without more injury. My situation was a little bit different. The girl charged me, and I stepped to the side and just politely let her run into the wall, which she got a big hickey on her head. But again, I should have waited for some backup, or actually not gone in the house until the backup showed up. So there's always safety in numbers. And I'm going to give them credit also on this. We just passed a law here in Georgia last year. A group of us got together and created some legislation that dealt with mental health, especially in the rural areas and for sheriff's deputies that don't have access to mental health facilities. It gives them the opportunity to be able to use state funds to obtain laptops and the internet access with a portable device, and to be able to broadcast what they see live to a mental health specialist that can make a decision on whether somebody goes to jail or not. And the difference is this: a lot of times when they go to the jail, after they've been, since when the officer says she's had mental health problems, somebody else assesses them, and by the time they assess them, they don't see the same thing and let them go. So nowadays they can get the assistants to have the video to be able to show to the mental health professional, and when they go to the facility, what that professional outweighs everything else outweighs everything else that happens after the fact, and they got to hold them for 72 hours. So it's a good program. Last year, quite a few of the agencies have taken it up, and it's been effective.
Yeah, that is actually pretty good, and I'm glad they're taking steps going forward to really zero in on treatment and how to respond to mental health episodes. Because a long time officers had very little bit of training, and you
Too much
guys,
time.
yeah, you guys been around back in.
Let's cut this.
Responding to calls, yeah, I was responding to calls and buggies and shit. So you guys understand how that works.
Oh yeah.
Tone, you got a shout out from Liz. She was like, Tone. So
Tell her I said hi. Yes. Hey, Liz.
So listen, I just want to share one thing with you, and the OG made a good point when it comes down to how you deal with someone developing or going through a mental episode. Tone, a lot of people know Tone's my brother. He's my oldest brother. He's in law enforcement before me. I actually followed him into law enforcement. Well, when I was in patrol, my patrol had opportunity to sign up for overtime. So me and my brother never worked together. He signed up for overtime in my precinct, and I had a hot precinct, nothing but projects in my precinct. You know, you had a few houses on the outskirts of the projects, but the majority is a projects car. So he comes in and, you know, it's just like first time ever having the opportunity to work with my brother, right? Within our precinct, we had like this mental illness house where everybody in this house was on medication. When we would go there maybe twice, 3 times a week. And we was always known to go there when 3 or 4 people, because it's very common that it will pop off. Things will happen real quick and you don't want to be by yourself, right? So Tone comes to the precinct, signs up for overtime. Everybody gets hot. It's an evening shift. So evening shift was hot, summertime. Tone gets a call to go to this house to deal with this. So everybody is on calls and because it was hot. There's a lot of calls going on at the time. He gets a call to go to his house. So he's at this house, and after a certain time, radio starts checking on you. If you are on a call for a long time, they'll call your unit. If you don't respond, they'll start kind of getting worried. So all of a sudden, I was leaving a call, and one of the units that was backing me, he's like, yo, your brother's at the house, bro. Like, and he's not answering. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, he's at the house. Everybody knows the house. I'm like, oh man. I said, I'm quite sure he's all right, but we can start heading over there towards it. So I cleared from the domestic I was on, going, and I said, keep me out. I'm gonna go check on my brother. So we flying over there, lights and sirens. More officers started coming, following behind me. They was like, let's hold the air until someone gets to him. Hold the air means don't get on radio and start talking. So if he's in trouble and he gets the opportunity to squeeze, we don't want somebody talking over him. So they got radio go silence to let him talk if he gets in trouble. So everybody starts pulling up. Maybe 2 minutes later, we all pulled up. We run inside, and Tone is sitting at the kitchen table. It was a big kitchen table. It's like the Last Supper kitchen table. He has a deck of cards in his hands, and it had a bunch of mental patients at the table, and he's playing Tonk with them. One of the guys that was there, he had a green warrant. Green warrant is a mental warrant. They want him to come into the hospital because he's been experienced a lot of episodes. A lot of times when we get the green warrants, officers got to wrestle some people down, got to put them in cuffs and take them out. Tone is at the table playing Tonk with the guy who has the green warrant, and he's looking at us as we come running in the door. He's like, I was like, you ain't answer your radio. He said, I'm hanging out with my family, and he's playing cards. He said, I got the wagon coming. Just relax, calm down. Y'all just relax. Just go back outside. When the wagon gets here, and the wagon is a transport vehicle, I'm going to walk him outside, and he's going to get in the wagon. He says, take notes. I've been doing this way before all of y'all. The wagon gets here, so he finishes playing with the guy. He's like, you won. Come on, let's go outside. The guy walks outside. Tone walks him over to the wagon, the transport unit, gives him a hug and say, I'm gonna let you win next time. And the guy rolls in the wagon, and he was like, all right, bye, and he got transported. Tone was like, he said, young something. But just the mindset of understanding the environment, understanding the people, understanding. That's something that the academy has never trained you. We're talking about the 90s, people. We wasn't dealing with emotionally disturbed people like that in the 90s. They didn't.
It's a master class, man. A master class.
First of all, I tried to, Joe, if you remember, I tried to answer on the radio, and y'all heard the noise from the card game, and y'all started rushing, thinking I'm in trouble, right? And everybody was just hyped, playing and happy. And for me, my thing was to eliminate any threat, right, and into his world. Yeah. And it worked. It worked. He was so comfortable, and it worked. There was no tension. I didn't need, there was no violence. There was no staring. He was happy. My presence made him happy. And, everything was calm, and he walked out. Joe, you saw he walked out. And, for me, that was like, I didn't feel it. I felt no threat. No threat whatsoever.
Yeah. And you got a way with dealing with these people, the EDP people, because I remember one time there was this girl trying to cut her wrist. You remember that? She was trying to cut her wrist.
You told me yeah.
And I was with you, and you got out and you just started talking to her. Next thing you know, like I think he was going out on a date with her or something. Ted,
I wouldn't say that. I'm not going out. But I tried, hey, you use whatever works to get her safe. And if giving her a compliment about herself and telling her that somebody cares about her, you look nice, you don't need to be in this position. Those are my tools. That's my job.
I'm telling you. He didn't go out on no date. I'm just joking. But what I can tell you is that she was in love after
hey, man, whatever you got to do.
He took her all the way down.
Exactly. Right.
He took her all the way down to the hospital and admitted her. She was like, bye, baby.
Whatever you got to do, man.
No,
that's it.
So,
I've been there.
Hey,
I see you work. Hey, work what you got.
What they said, like electricity, the least path of resistance.
That's right.
And that's what I use to make it work. Why? What they say, work smarter, not harder. I can go there and try and start snatching people. And you got the warrant, I got the legal authority. No. Everything's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. And it always works for me. Well,
ain't nothing worse than getting into a fight with a half-naked woman. I'm telling you that. There's nothing worse. Because ain't nothing to grab. She ain't got. She had a number of panties. The one we dealt with, she just had panties on. That's it. And there wasn't no way for us to take her down. When she saw that guy, she fell in love with it. Oh, I like him. He's cute. We queued him up. Come on over here, dude. Do your job.
My PBM family, a few people watching this live. Anybody got any questions for the panel? You could just ask and we'll answer. But as we always tell you, just if you got a gripe with the police, side of the road is not the place to have that type of argument. Don't challenge it. Take your fight to the courtroom. More officers are getting fired, suspended, charged. You will get a bag. That's your justice right there. Officer has the home court advantage on the side of the road. Take your fight to the courtroom to level it out. And please be safe, get home, and see you next video.
A second, is it registered with the
same? You gonna take me to jail for what, sir?
Because I'm asking you questions, you're not answering me. This is your truck. Hold on.
What law says I have to answer any questions?
Is that registered? No. Okay, so I'm gonna tow it.
When you do, I'm gonna sue you, sir.
Oh, feel free. That's fine. You can't park that here. It doesn't have a plate. So grab what you need out of there. You got your ID?
No, but I gotta show you my ID for.
Because it's your truck. I need your ID.
No, you don't need my ID, sir.
Turn around. I'm not playing this game with you. Turn around.
Sir.
Give me your ID.
Don't put your hands on me, sir. Back off me. Back off me, sir. When I'm under arrest, what's the dial?
All I want is his ID.
You don't got to. I don't have no
I
right.
want your ID.
Tell me the law that says I have to show you my ID.
But none of that shit.
He don't have a plate.
I don't have to have no plate on my car. Show me the law that says so. Sir, show me the law.
Hey, my man.
Show me the law. Show me the law that says this. Show me. What crime did I commit?
Because you have
Stop surrounding me. Back off me like that. Don't surround me.
So you don't have. Hold on.
Tow it and I'll sue you.
My man, go back in the fucking house, man. I'm done with you. This doesn't involve you, does it?
Go in the
house. Go in the house.
My free right.
You understand? Are you registered on this lease?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I live here.
I'm gonna report that house and that house to housing.
Look, you want to see? I live here. I got.
Because I'm not doing. I'm gonna take you to jail in a second. Is it registered with the state?
You gonna take me to jail for what, sir?
Because I'm asking you questions, you're not answering me.
Welcome back, my PBM family. Welcome back. Another episode of Old School Cops presented by PBM. You got the three-man squad. You got a lot of knowledge, a lot of wealth, a lot of experience here in the car tonight. Listen, we got Tone to the left. He started his law enforcement career on Rikers Island, the largest jail in the nation. He started out Rikers Island, did really well, and then he went to the police department. He was a patrol officer, did really well, did some amazing work there. Then he did some sergeant work. Then he became a detective, burglary detective. He did well as a B&E detective. Then he became a youth violence detective. What that is juveniles involved with gang activity. So a gang investigator. To my right, we got the OG of law enforcement. We call him the OG because he is the oldest guy that I know that's been doing the law enforcement as long as he's been doing it. I think I was in elementary school while he was locking up bad guys, taking dope off the street, making a community just that much safer. Now listen, when we start talking about experiences, he was a street cop, then he did so well, he took his talents to the federal level and became a hell of a DEA agent and did it nationwide. To my followers, I love the support. Please continue sending the videos. This particular video, we called it Officer Has Slave Master Mentality Attitudes. And the reason why I say is because a lot of people don't like to talk about race, but you got to understand the triggers in certain communities, right? You start talking about, let me see your ID when you don't have the actual legal backing to request ID. We're talking about a parked vehicle. The officer is just, whatever the vehicle had issues, it was parked. If he felt like he needed to tow it. He got into a pissing match about so-called owner of the vehicle, where the owner of the vehicle had absolutely nothing to do with a parked vehicle. If the officer seen some type of parking violation, cite the vehicle, give it a citation, tow it. He started talking about, let me see your ID. He got into this whole pissing match about getting ID. Take that back to the slave patrol. Let me see your freedom papers. That community for a long time has been haunted by type of language of let me see your freedom papers. Officers, you got to understand, you may not be from the community, but when you start talking about the black community, there is triggers that you got to understand. You can't use certain terms, especially when you don't even have the legal right to be trying to get ID when this is a free country, it's a free world. I got to have cause to ask you for their ID. A parked vehicle is not one of those causes. Yeah, I can ask you, I can say, can I see your ID? You have a right to say, no, I can't do anything about that. And then you get into a pissing match with him, with the neighbors. Relax. We will never build a positive relationship if you don't know the law, if you don't start respecting people. It was a parking violation. You know how I know? I listened to the officer's conversation. He zoned in on a parking violation. So you got to be careful. And I had this conversation with a lot of white cops who don't understand the culture. To be an effective police officer, and I know this firsthand because I was a cop, I was from the community, communication, understanding is everything, people, everything. You cannot effectively police a community of people if you don't understand the culture. You don't understand the people who live in that community. And I'm not saying you got to agree, you don't, but you got to have an understanding. I used to tell a lot of white officers that, who was like, yo, how you do so well in the projects? So listen, I'm from the projects, so I got the upper hand of understanding the people. But at the same time, I didn't agree with everything that went on in the projects. As a cop, I didn't agree, but I had an understanding. So it gives me that much of advantage when I had to police a particular community like that I was raised in. So that was the advantage I have. You don't have to necessarily be raised in it to be effective, because I've seen some white officers effective because they took the time to understand the people, they took the time to understand the culture, and they was real effective. But a lot of white officers don't do that. And I've seen that end of the conflict of how it escalates to now everybody's using force, it's us against them. Do you want to be an effective police officer? You got to understand the people, the culture, and the community. Go ahead, Tone.
You know, it's crazy how many times I've had these little type of mediocre little scenarios and situations in policing where I'm driving down the street. And I mean, we could use that situation where I see a vehicle, there are no tags, it's not registered. I'm engaging into a conversation with the guy. Yeah, what's up, man? How, you know, does it run? Does it work? What happened? We're engaged into a conversation. He's gonna say, yeah, it broke down, or I didn't get a chance to go to DMV. Me, you got the paper, you got the title on it. Show me, you mind showing me the title? I look at the title, I confirm it's the car. And by then you could run the individual's name if you really needed to know who that individual's name is through the title. He'd have been thanking me, yo, do me a favor, move that car by tomorrow, or get the DMV, get your mechanic, and have it gone. If that's what I would have done if it was a complaint from the house, the apartment complex or whatever. Of course, you determine it's on the city street, and my man, look, I got to tow it. Who you want to take it? Where you want to go? And that's it. It would have been nothing more than that. He tried to hucklebuck the guy into giving him ID, didn't like the fact that he didn't get the ID, and now he wants him to put his hands behind his back. Wrong, wrong, and wrong.
You know what I see happens all the time, Tone, or a lot of officers like this, right? You see how you explained it? I would explain it very similar, and the OG have done it 1,000 times exactly like that. But the problem I see with officers like this, they don't know how to communicate, right, with members of the community. So the only thing they do is they stand behind the authority. And when you don't have the authority, you look like an asshole, because any defense attorney would have ate this up. Like, dude, why are you asking? It's a parked vehicle. You want to tow it, tow it. So now I'm standing in the middle of this drama where I'm trying to enforce something that I shouldn't even be enforcing. If his communication skills was on par to talk to this person, just like you described, you wouldn't have to use the authority behind it, because you didn't have any authority. You got to be able to weigh it out. What happens is, and I see officers get in trouble, I'm going to force you and make you. I'm going to force you because I'm the law, and I'm going to input my authority on you. Well, my friend, there's criteria to allow you for that authority, and officers like this didn't understand it, couldn't communicate with it. So now I want to try to bait you into something that I think I can enforce. You not giving me ID. You were all wrong, totally wrong. OG, go ahead.
You know, Joe, real quick, Ted, that vehicle, right, could have had parking tickets, so many, right? All he had to do was run the VIN. It's going to come back. The tickets are going to come back. It's a tow. There's nothing to even discuss. It's over. You know, as long as the vehicle is not posing a danger to the community, I would have left it and gave my man a shot to move it. End of story.
Yep. And what it goes back to is this. And this is what I'm talking about now when we talk about training police officers. We got to find a way to get them in the community before they become officers. One of my recommendations when they hire new officers is, while they're in the police academy, make them do at least one shift a week in a private nonprofit, YMCA, homeless shelter, somewhere where they can become exposed to people who are downtrodden, who are struggling, so they can look at them and see and understand how to relate to them in a way that's non-threatening. Because when you come into a community and they don't know you, and you start pontificating and telling them what to do, all you're doing is antagonizing them. I don't know if they know the officer, but anytime you patrol the same area over and over again, it behooves you to get to know people, even the bad people, so that they know that you're not here to play and you're going to do what's right. Okay, as long as you follow my instructions, everything's gonna be fine. As long as I'm gonna listen to you and see what's going on with you, but you know that there's some violations here, and I'm with you, Tom. Run the VIN number, and that's gonna give you the history on the car. And hey, man, you got the title of this car. Did he sign it over to you? Yeah, he did sign it over to me. Let me see the title. So you get the title and you look at it and you see that he just got the car 2 days ago. How many days you got to get new tags, Joe? Is it 30 days?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 30 days or so.
Yeah.
So remember, when are you gonna get tags on this car?
Yeah, you
Because
get and you get
gonna
the
stop and look at this. Yeah, I'm not gonna be the only cop gonna stop and look at this. So we need to fix this right away. So what you gonna do about it? Well, you know, I'm gonna try to get it done tomorrow. Look, you got 5 days. I'm gonna let the other guys know you got 5 days. Now here's the problem: you can't be driving around here without the tags on it because they're gonna stop you, they're gonna tow it, and then they're gonna lock you up. Because I don't know what your status is with your driver's license. Okay, it's none of my business right now because the vehicle is parked. But if you're driving the car on a public street and they see no tags on it, they're gonna pull you over. They're gonna ask you for your driver's license because you drive with no tag. Because you're gonna get a citation. They're gonna tow the car anyway. And if you don't have a driver's license, you shouldn't be driving anyway. I'm just giving you the word of advice. So just be careful. You know, I'm gonna let you slide this time, and I'm gonna back up for you. My 2 sons were DeKalb County police officers at the same time. My number 2 son he said, Dad, I don't like giving tickets to people that are already struggling. If your tag hasn't been renewed, there's a reason. If you don't have your child in the car seat, there's a reason. So what can I do to help you? I'm not going to hurt you by giving you a ticket. And they would get his sergeants would get mad because he'd come in with no tickets. He said, I'm not writing tickets. He said, I'm here to protect and serve. Ain't got nothing to do with no tickets. And that's the attitude you have to have most of the time. But every once in a while, when you write that ticket on somebody and you get that driver's license and something happens later on, guess what? That was the guy I pulled over in that silver Oldsmobile Cutlass the other day. Yeah, that's him. I remember him. I wrote him a ticket. You go pull the ticket. Now you got his name. And see if you do things the right way. If there's somebody that's on the other side of the law, guess what, Tom? We're gonna get them next time.
We're gonna get them. We ain't
got to rouse them. We already got the information. So
we know it.
It takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of knowing when to click and when not to click. Okay, so as long as you're being respectful to me, I'll be respectful to you. But once you cross that line, okay, it's a whole different world now. So in my opinion, if he'd taken a better attitude, bro man would have acted a little bit different. And probably would have told him or at least showed the pink slip to prove that the car belonged to him. But if he had presented the pink slip, I'd have told it just to get it off the street. And that'll force him to come down with some ID because the VIN comes back to somebody else. If he doesn't have a pink slip on it, or if it comes back stolen, then we know we got a problem then, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you gotta do your work. And that means being kind and considerate, being respectful to a point, especially when you're in the hood and it's dark. It's dark, Joe. It's black dark out there. and you got folks hiding from windows and stuff. Right. Keep it low. Look, man, we're gonna fix this, but you got a couple of days to get it straight. I'm not gonna do anything right now, but later on. So next time you see him and you gave him a break, guess what he's gonna say? Hey, man, I remember you. I appreciate you. You taking care of me the other day. If you need anything in the neighborhood, just hit me up and let me know, and I'll do what I can to help you out. Relationships matter.
Real quick though, if he feels like you are helping him, he will give you the papers.
Right.
He'll give it to you. It's like, why make it harder for you? As the officer, why come out like that? Let him do the work for you. It's easier. It's easy.
You know when it's time to get to sling some knucks now. You know. It don't take but a second. Yeah. And look, it's like that. What I used to give was that mama from the choir stand look. You don't want to come here? I'm not in the mood for it today. I go to, I didn't mean no harm. I hear what you're saying, but there's a line. You just crossed it. Now get back on your side because Ted ain't playing tonight. We're not going through this.
Right. Hey, you out the car, and all of a sudden you hear punk ass police officer. What you doing? Now the car's towed. You set the tone. I'm not going to argue with you. It's done.
You got to say
It's
nothing.
done.
You got to say nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Blue
No.
lights on. Send me a tow truck.
Yeah.
Take it on.
That's it.
The next
That's
time I
it.
come through here, be respectful. You respect me, I'm gonna respect you. Right now, I'm gonna let you know I'm in charge.
And that's the thing, man. Like when we got officers watching this, right? In a poor community, I was raised in a poor community. You don't have a lot, so little things mean a lot. And what I mean by that is respect level, right? Is like you wouldn't believe. Respect is so high in a poor community, you will be surprised. If you're not from the poor community, then you will not understand it. Disrespect could get you killed easy in a poor community. So you as the officer, right? If you show a little respect, it will get you so much further than you trying to and come at somebody in a disrespectful and authoritarian manner, especially in this incident, because he didn't even have the law to back him. He didn't have the authority to let me see your ID when you dealing with a parked car. On a side note, I'm about to close it out, right? On a side note, right? I think, right, and I was having this, back and forth conversation with another member of law enforcement. And I think that correction officers make so much better police officers. And the reason why I say that is because you're inside of a jail, locked in, like with the inmates all day, every day, doing your 8-hour, 12-hour, whatever shift you have, and you don't have a gun. And it causes you to be a real good thinker, and it causes you to be comfortable or able or willing to know I have to go hands-on for survival. There's a huge difference when you see a officer who has correction experience versus someone who doesn't, especially someone not from the community. Somebody from community has pretty much the same characteristics of a correction officer because they grew up in that environment. They grew up in an environment where going hands-on was pretty common. Most people or officers come from that environment are comfortable with going hands-on. I think you need to be willing to go hands-on as a police officer because you got to have some form of comfortability, because if you don't, you're always going to reach for a gun. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, Tone worked Rikers Island, right? And then you became a cop, and then you did amazing police work, right? Could you tell the audience, right, what kind of advantages, right, you believe that you had coming from corrections and becoming a police officer?
Not only coming from corrections, but also living and growing up into the environment. Like you said, living there, you had to deal with the bully in the neighborhood, where everything was done hands-on. A lot of it was verbal. You had to deal with the neighbor who was strung out on drugs, or the domestic violence in the community, or somebody who was high on crack, the junkies. And that just put everything into play, how to deal with those scenarios with the person who has mental problems that live in the building. You learn and you practice that. It's like you're getting on-the-job training in real life. And then when you get into the situations where you have to use them as a part of your position, it's like, wow, this isn't as hard, as it could have been. I know how to handle this. I got this. And you go in there with confidence.
Right, and that's good. So would you say being a correction officer also helped being a police officer? You're
hands down
all the time, right?
Hands down. In fact, in some departments, and I'm sure it's like in the West, because I know, you got the sheriff's department in LA County where they rotate between the jail and the road. And that helps a lot. That helps a lot. And that's different. We're not talking about LAPD, which probably has more of the problems than opposed to that jailer who knows how to work the street as well.
All right.
Well, most local police departments here have a jail also. Quite a few of them have a small facility that they have manned every night, every day, before they transport them to the county jail. Some charges they can arrest them for and handle it at the court the same day and let them go. But a lot of them end up transferring back and forth. And I agree with you, when you have people that are accustomed to dealing with the different mentalities of people, they're more readily able to assess someone and know how to deal with them in a way that'll have a positive result. By the same token, they know when all that ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you know when it ain't gonna work, and you just got to go and take your time and go on and do what you got to do to get folks subdued and be ready to go next time. But you know, it's all about being able to gauge personalities, putting yourself in a situation, and the biggest twin tone you talked about this is your attitude. See, a lot of, and I'm not being racist, a lot of white guys haven't had the experience that we've had. They haven't lived in the hood. They haven't watched whole families fight. Okay, they haven't watched people scrapping over a couple of nickels or whatever. You know, when I was a cop in Memphis, a guy got killed 50 cents worth of souse. Souse is basically hog head cheese. You know, it's been ground up and they put a coagulant in there and it comes together like bologna. Okay, and the guy killed him over 50 cents with the souse. So you know, some things people just can't handle. Other times, you know, you got the calmest folk in the world. So you just got to be able to read personalities. And the more you're around certain types of folks, the more you're able to assess quickly what you're going to do to satisfy the situation. And then the worst thing in the world is when you got somebody that's an antagonist. And that makes matters even worse. You got some guy that wants to run off at the mouth and make threats and all that good stuff. All that does is make things worse. And it works better when somebody says, man, just calm down. Won't you go there and sit down and let me handle this situation? Because you're going in the wrong direction. Because I say this again, and I'm serious. Whatever you do, you got that video camera rolling, and they hear every word you say. They see every expression on your face until you get real close to them. But when you're a distance away from folk, voice inflection, mannerisms, profane language, lewd language, disrespectful language, all that stuff, you know, but once you cross the line now, it don't matter. But at that point, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But I'm just saying it helps when you've been exposed. And it also helps when people critique what you do. So now you got videos and somebody should be watching those videos every day. I know in the cab, every time somebody's arrested, they got to watch the video. But they ought to randomly go and pick up a video and look at it and use it as a training tool, either negative or positive, to try to help folk understand what they should and should not do, you know?
Yeah, I think that's I think you make a really good point, and you talk about a lot of diversity training, and I'm 100% agreeing with that. And that's one of the things that I think would make a huge change. And Tom, I don't mean to pick on you, right? But you kind of like, we call you in from, we get you from the back of the crate when one of us is on the RDO. So my boy Shane's on RDO, so we kind of picking your brain because you're not with us on a regular basis. I have like one question for you to kind of share with the audience. Like, you know, we sit here and we assess a lot of these videos, and a lot of them, what we assess is bad policing. And we do that for the community to give them options on or educate them on how to survive these encounters. For the most part, we know, right, something that a lot of the people in our community don't know. There's a lot more. There's 10 times more good policing from every bad video that we see. There is a lot of good policing because we've been a part of that. We've seen it firsthand. So I get it when people say there's no such thing as a good cop because this is all they see. We had the opportunity to actually see good policing. So with that said, we're always trying to talk about how to make policing better, right? Just give us because you have a long time in law enforcement. What if you had like a seat at the table to say, we should really implement this? That would be a huge factor in turning the policing around in a much positive way. What would it be? What would you say to add to a law enforcement table to say, look, I think this right here would actually kind of change the game?
Don't walk in so aggressive. Don't walk in aggressive. Well, Ted made a good point. Like, people, they come from hard times. Try to have empathy with a person in their situation. There's something going on when you respond to a call. Process everything, right? But don't be so aggressive. There's going to be calls for a time that you have to go in and be aggressive. You might get into a situation where there is an active fight or there is a domestic. Okay, you do what you got to do to separate and detain individuals using the most minimal, restraints. And then, just start processing, but have empathy for what is going on in front of you. No matter where you're at, no matter who's black, who's white, try and live with that in your head every day. Every situation is different. Every call is different. Just don't be so aggressive. It's not that I don't like to see that I'm right, you're wrong, or it's, you do what I say and don't do what I do. Police mentality. That's not the approach. That one contact can change the life of somebody. It can end the life of somebody. It could change the process, the mindset of a child. I've had people write letters to the precinct thanking me. I had one lady, she went through some it was a call in progress. And when I got her to my car and I put my, the cover over her, she was giving me a hug like, thank you. You saved me. That means a lot. It really, really does. Just don't be so aggressive. Don't be so aggressive.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to have some really good role models and advisors, go-to guys in my young policing. And Tone actually was one of them. I always give you props because, you didn't let me get souped into the mindset of it's us against them. You used to always say, yo, you represent the community. Remember that. Don't get caught up on this blue wall. You represent the community. So I appreciate that for you. And that gave me a different look on how I was going to present myself as a police officer to the community. And I thank you for that. And I had a good FTO, Max Macco, right? And he's just like, it's the easiest thing to do is to come out here, right, and show authority. Because you're the cop, you have authority. The government had given you a right to take a life, to take freedom, but that's not what this job's about. And I hate the fact that policing is really built around enforcement. He used to always say, yo, dude, you're like a referee. You're here to balance out the rules of society. And then if you need to use force, you need to throw a flag, put somebody in the box, then you do that. But that shouldn't be your primary focus. You are a problem solver. You are a social worker. He used to give you all these type of professions, but being an enforcer, that was always like the secondary part. He said, if you go with that mindset, that's going to separate you from everybody else. And what I see from you is you want to have an impact on giving back to your community. If you follow that mindset as the force part as being the secondary, he said, you're going to make an excellent police officer because that's not what they do. They ask, tell, make. It's always authority. Yes, you do have that authority, but you should only be using it as a secondary factor if you can't mediate it like a ref. You're a ref of society. You're telling a group of people at their worst, two people at their worst, how to maneuver and get through this bad time that they are both experiencing. Because most people are pretty decent people, but they have moments of bad times. And when that bad time collapse, you as a referee, you blow the whistle, and then you're trying to make sense of it and trying to give more direction on how to calm it down and bring a solution for it. And I think that needs to be more emphasized than me just throwing my authority at you. Because it's easy to do that. It's easy to do it. But you don't do anything with that approach, but build a wall of resistance to embrace law enforcement. When we get there, people should be like, okay, good. At least we got a third party that's outside that's going to treat everybody fair, and let's see what this person got to say. I understood that once I worked the project and once I started seeing how my presence mattered. Like, oh, I'm glad you're here, Joe. Now, let me tell you about I had officers go off because somebody didn't call them officer. It really bothered them. I am Officer Johnson. You call me officer. Like, you know, I was like, that, like, trying to solve the, like, they was like, yo, you let them call you Joe? Yeah, like, yeah, that's my name. No, they need to call you officer. That, I mean, yes, I'm in uniform, I'm displaying a badge and a gun. I don't get offended if the guy I roll up and they go, I'm glad you're here, Joe. Let me tell you what's going on. Right. And then they're comfortable enough to have a back and forth guy and allow me and trust that what I'm going to present to whatever the situation is going to fix whatever the problem is. I'm not stuck. Oh, you have to call me officer. Like, that's not.
No, you know, one of the things I really don't like, in policing, right? And I put myself in the same position because I don't like it. I don't like to be in my car and lights light up behind me and I'm nervous and scared as shit. I hate for that to happen. That's wrong anywhere, in any town, in any jurisdiction in the United States. That's horrible. And I always try to take that away from the individual. But even right now, I've been out of law enforcement for a minute. I still feel uncomfortable. The only time I feel somewhat comfortable is when I have papers on me.
Right.
My papers from OPD. That'll kill everything. But I shouldn't have to do that. They should see me as an individual going about my way. I'm a citizen, unless I give them other indication. And that's a horrible feeling. And I don't like that.
Yeah. Hey, OG, you want to add something before we close it out?
Well, I'm just going to say this. My mom told me something a long time ago. She said, kindness is free. It'll cost you a dime, just a little bit of time. So always try to be kind first. And then you'll know when it's time to click up. But just be kind. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day. That kind of thing. Because it does make a difference when you show you care. My oldest is a major with the police department here. And a lady came up to me and she said, I understand your son is Major Golden. I said, yes, ma'am. He's a captain now. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, I had a police officer, detective, who was not responding to my request about information about my son who disappeared. And she said, your son took over, and every month he called me. Every month he called me. I just want to let you know you raised a good man. And I said, well, what happened to your son? She said, well, he committed suicide. And they eventually found it. And I was disappointed because I thought that she was telling me this because she'd had a positive outcome with her son missing.
Right.
But on top of her son being found deceased, she took the time to tell me that your son made my life a whole lot better because he called me every month. The little things that we do in law enforcement are the things that make a big difference in people's lives, because when they know you as that person, it's like night and day, man. It's like night and day. I used to be the public information officer for DEA. I was on TV every other week here in Atlanta. We had big busts all the time. And, it's amazing how many folk would just stop me and go, we appreciate what you're doing. Thank you so much. Even to the point one time when I was no longer the PIO, I was helping on a case. The lady screamed at me. She said, Ted Golden, don't you walk out of this restaurant and not speak to me. So when you do what you do and you do it right, people going to recognize you and appreciate you for it, because it makes a big difference when it comes time for folk to make decisions or assessments of how good a job you're doing. It's even when it's not good, it's still good because they know that you did your best.
Yeah, and you got to treat people with respect, man. And one of the things, and this is for the cops who watch the show, actors, right? Here's a tool for de-escalation. It worked 90%, 95% of the time, right? You're just going to have your 5% that whatever you say is not going to go like you want it. But 95% of the time, this worked for me all the time when I was on the street. People hear it all the time. You ever heard of matching energy? Oh, I'll match this energy. You want to be asshole? I'm going to be asshole. When people are at their worst, I would say, listen, let's match energy, right? I'm going to start it out, right? I'm going to respect you. I want you to respect me, right? So this is how we're going. Nobody's going to disrespect you because I'm going to show you respect, regardless of what it is, right? I'm here to bring a resolution to whatever problems it is. So let me try to do that. I'm not yelling and not screaming. So as long as I show you respect, you should be showing respect. It's just so easy to do that. I did that one time, just trying it out, and it worked more than it didn't work. Like, people just want to be respected. They want to be treated like adults. Men want to be treated like men. Now, don't get me wrong. You're going to have your assholes that you come across that just shit just ain't going to work, and then you just got to deal with it accordingly. You probably might have to match their energy, but not to the point to where you're out of policy and you just being an asshole. But you just might have to be a little bit more firm. But what I'm saying is, for the most part, if you start out with respect, you're going to get it. I've been around a long time, policing a long time. You will get the respect if your presentation out the gate is respect. Listen,
you know, real quick, another one of the tactics I used a lot when engaging was I would find a common ground. So if I walked up and you were wearing a Yankee hat, yo, you a Yankee fan, or you got family from New York, and that throws things to a whole different place.
Yeah.
And you start building a conversation. You're talking about something else. Just find that little thing. There's so many things. We have so much in common as people here. There's so many things you got to. I try and break the ice and get it off that tension, and let's talk. And next thing you're talking, it always works.
No, 100%. And if you policing inner city, poor community, learn the culture, man. It will take you so far. Learn the culture. I mean, it was just amazing. Though I responded to it was a fight. It was an argument. According to the radio, it was an argument. People about to fight. And when I get there, I was the first officer there. I had like 3 or 4 officers that was assisting because they said it was a large fight, and it's a large argument about to turn into a fight. So you gotta more than you need at that type of call. And I just walked up, and the guys was arguing. There's 2 guys, and I didn't even say that. I just listened. I wanted to hear what they was arguing about. And they was arguing about a dice game, right? And the rules to the dice game. One was arguing CeeLo. Anybody know how to play CeeLo? The other one was arguing craps. Because I grew up playing both games, I was able to interject and go, no, can I? I saw this, can I chime in real quick? And it was like, yeah, go ahead. I said, you wrong. I said, the reason why you wrong, because that rule goes for CeeLo, not craps. And they was like, oh, you know the place? I said, come on, man. I grew up in a hood. Like, they was like, oh. And he was like, yo, you
just like that.
He gave him pound, he gave me pound, and it was just done. It was just my understanding of the game, which just turned everything around. These dudes was passionately trying to argue a point, and I can see where somebody can say, yo, it's about to get nasty, because when we get into a conversation or a debate and it can just get heated because it kept going up and up. It was just me understanding the game that they was playing, which just turned it around. So when I tell you, if you're a cop and you're not from the community, low income, get a chance to learn that culture, learn that community. Just little simple things like that can just change the whole dynamic. And every time they see me, I was like, yo, Joe, what up? Like, people don't say what's up to the police no more. You know what I mean? Like, because I can relate, they was like, okay, he's one of the cool ones. I want all of y'all to be cool, but you got to be able to gain that trust, be able to gain that respect. And I didn't just and just start telling people, shut up, I'm here. How many times you seen that in cops? Shut up, I'm here now. Like, come on, like,
right.
I've seen that. I'm like, why the fuck are you? And then all of a sudden now we fighting them, and it's us against them. Like, I'm the cop. I'm going to, there's a time and place for that, but not every incident that's required. You got to be able to read the room. Listen first. If I wasn't one that listened and tried to understand, I would have never been able to diffuse it, problem solve, no problem. I just walked up and just started listening to they were back and forth. I understood what they was arguing about. Then I say, yo, can I interject? Can I say something? And they're like, what? I was like, you are wrong, because that's what CeeLo when you arguing the cops rule, and that's why I said you can't do that with that. And he was like, yo, you're not a player. And it just changed it, bro. Like, just because I understood the game.
Joe,
So
9 out of 10 of the cops that I worked with would have been trying to lock up both guys for gambling. They'd have been trying, how horrible. How horrible. And that is so minute, and that can lead to a whole other problem. But a lot of times I use sports, music, and food as a way of, because that's something that we all have in common, and it works for me.
So Joe, I'm gonna give you a little credit here. All right, so I'm a trainer at the King Center. So you use the first 2 steps to nonviolence. The first step is information gathering.
Right. Okay.
You listen to both sides and make sure you understood their positions. The second step is education. So you took the time to educate them on your knowledge of what was going on based on the information was gathered. Actually used 3 steps. The third step is a personal commitment. See, if you wasn't somebody who really cared, you'd done like Tone said, you'd have walked in and locked up everybody. But you made a personal commitment to listen to what they had to say and give them your opinion. And because your opinion was based on what you heard them say and what your personal knowledge is, you were able to negotiate, okay, which is the 4th step. And as a consequence, you had reconciliation. You have to go direct action where you protest. You had reconciliation. And that's what makes a difference in situations where you're trying to get things handled. We do teach nonviolence to public safety law enforcement officers so they can find ways to implement it in their processes, because most of the time we're just referees.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming into a situation and we making calls. Okay, either it was a foul or you were out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was a touchdown, that kind of thing. So, we just gotta be calm enough to assess situations and know when it's appropriate for us to apply force. Most of the time, it's just trying to negotiate a good settlement and get people to calm down. Maybe you need to step away for a little while in the situation, and then every once in a while you run the focus. Everybody got to go to jail, and you know what? It ain't no thing because if you're wrong, you're just wrong.
You're right.
In the situations that exist, we just have to know how to apply things. And then you want people to respect you for your decision, especially when you know that what you're doing is right. When you know what you're doing is right, it's a whole different world. When you deal with people, especially those folk that are not the best people in the world to deal with, whether they're drug addicts, prostitutes, pimps, people that just trying to get over, or somebody trying to run a scam or whatever, you know how to deal with them. And it is what it is. But as long as you make a good effort and you present yourself, and we call it listening and hearing, Joe. Right. It's when you can hear, you can listen to what somebody says and it stops in the middle of your brain and you're able to process it and you're able to regurgitate out, repeat what they said so that they know that you understand what they said. It's called listening and hearing. And it's a big thing to implement when you're dealing with folk who don't know each other in particular.
Yeah. That's huge. One of the things early in my career, and you guys know from all the calls you went to, you wasn't arresting everybody at calls. You did few arrests. They said, right, in policing back in the day, you were the social worker that wore all the different hats. You were the marriage counselor. You were the child youth coordinator. You was the priest. You was everybody handling all these different things. And that is so true. So true.
Yeah, and you know what law enforcement need to do? And what I mean by law enforcement, upper management, the brass. You're so rewarded on good arrests, good collars, going out. You're really like, and I can't. And you listen, I'm not saying that as it's a problem as far as not to lock up bad guys, get dope off the street, get guns off the street, get people out here who's committing some real crimes. But the level of praise you get, you have an officer leaving the actual precinct from shift, going out hunting, literally hunt, and don't come in without an arrest. Don't come in without a felony. I think it needs to be more rewarded on having a beat that nothing happened on. Can you imagine, right, coming in from the ship like, yo, nobody got killed? I've had that. I've had radio calls in my radio, the activity sheet where no arrest was made, but I responded to domestics. Nobody got arrested. You know, imagine just being able to serve and police a community where nobody got killed and nobody got arrested. Like, law enforcement needs to emphasize more on that than actually going out making an OVM, making an OVF. Like, I think when you have that mindset of I have to, so I can look like a really good tough guy, like a really good police officer, because in the police world, the more big arrests you have, the bigger felonies, the bigger drugs, the guns you're off the street, you put on a pedestal. You're like the guy. Like you're really that guy. So the whole serving that community is what? And I fell into the big arrests, the big seizures. I fell into that because you couldn't tell me like I'm not out here to lock up. You couldn't tell me I wasn't out here to lock up real bad guys. If I could get a murderer off the street, America's Most Wanted, a child predator, a rapist, like I'm going for it. And then I get glorified from the brass. Oh, you got Comstat. Oh yeah, I had one of my guys take America's Most Wanted. I work the midnight shift, and an hour before, you don't supposed to get in the shit. An hour before EOT in the tour. Midnight shift is in the morning. Is this lady, she come over, and I'm like, oh man, I really don't feel like dealing with it. And if you got a good relief, you normally hand over whatever it is to them so you could go home. They work midnights. It was this girl, she was upset at her boyfriend. She's telling me, oh, he's on America's Most Wanted. He escaped from prison. He said he ain't going. And how many times we've heard that from women who get mad at their man so you could go up there and actually be the bully that they using you for because they feel bullied and they can't do that, so they trying to use you to input some force and fear into their man. So I'm like, oh, here we go again. Long story short, this dude ended up really being one of America's Most Wanted dudes. The day shift was coming and say, yo, Joe, I'll take him. I was like, hell no. I'm going to work overtime to fill out this paperwork. I was praised the following shift. Yo, you took a guy from America's Most Wanted off the streets, this and that. But that's the mentality. That's the law enforcement. Nobody cared about. I had an activity sheet that went to the back. Not one person got killed in my projects. Not one person went to jail because I'm there mediating it, like OG said to the ref. I was there mediating, refereeing it, and nobody went to jail. When I had a big impact on my beat in my community and nobody got killed and went to jail, that was self-satisfactory for me. But the police department, they looking at like, yo, what did you do all day? Like nobody went to jail.
Hey, Joe, how many times your supervisor came to you with the activity sheet saying, I can't hand it in with just zeros. You got to put something on here. Put a defect notice. Put a ticket on the car. I can't put zeros on. They really come at you with that.
Right, and that's a bad mindset to have where we generating numbers. We're really promoting go out and make that. You force unnecessary police contact, and that's where the badness of the relationship happens. I'm looking for numbers. I'm looking for an arrest. Dude, like that's one day I had a good FTO man. He says, don't never force it. It's gonna come. It's going to come. A bad person out here is going to continually be bad.
You ain't got to look for it. You ain't got to look for it. It's going to happen.
Right.
It's going.
You got to instigate. Instigate. Don't instigate. Just go out there and do your job.
It's going to fall. And I think law enforcement, if you can change that mindset, we will put a much better product out for the community, which will embrace it because you will see a different mindset. And
it's like that hunting mentality. And when they make the arrest, they're slapping high five and stuff like that. It's true. Quotas are dangerous for any department, any community. Very dangerous.
It is. Yeah, we can
right or wrong. You're right. You're 100% with it.
Yep. So listen, my PBM family, I know we kind of went off on a tangent talking about law enforcement, how to make it better, but like at the end of the day, this platform is to educate you and give you a little bit more than you had before you watched it. And one of the things that we try to emphasize is making it home at night, especially if you came in across an excessive aggressive police officer. They will win hands down on the side of the road. Like this girl, you seen her, she was dead wrong, and she still tried to argue a point that she probably shouldn't argue. No ID, rolling through stop signs. I want to see a cam. That is not the time for that. She got yanked out, dragged around. She lived to see another day, but come on, like that was unnecessary. Some people don't live to see another day. She just got lucky. So listen, take your fight to the courtroom. Please be safe and see you next video. Yo, that was pretty good, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good.